A nation and the people on the move, keeping you up to date. Bemopan Weekly.
Good evening and welcome to another edition of Bemopan Weekly for June 30th, 2011. I am Dawn Mitchell. Following last week's nationalization of BEL, the Prime Minister took off to Guatemala for an international conference convened for the purpose of pledging support for the Central American security strategy. But in the context of the nationalization of Belize Electricity Company Limited and the fact that much of our energy comes from Mexico City, Prime Minister Barrow had indicated that he had every intention of using the opportunity to meet personally with Mexico's President Felipe Calderón to advance discussions on the possibility of more concessionary terms for power purchased from Mexico's Comisión Federal de Electricidad, CFE. When Prime Minister Barrow returned from Guatemala last Thursday, he brought promising news about his meeting with President Felipe Calderón. As we reported in a press release last Thursday, the Prime Minister indicated that his talks with President Calderón did center around the issue of supply of electricity from CFE, and that the Mexican president made it very clear that he is extremely well disposed to Belize's request that he intervenes with CFE in order to secure better rates for Belize in terms of the purchase of electricity from CFE and an increase in the credit ceiling so that it doubles from $10 million to $20 million. The Prime Minister said that he felt that both requests fell on fertile ground. The PM said he would designate former Prime Minister Sir Manuel Esquivel as government's point person to meet with CFE to work out the new contractual arrangements that would ensure the continuous uninterrupted supply of electricity to Belize. We can report to you this week that we spoke on Wednesday with Sir Manuel Esquivel, who informed us that he is scheduled to travel to Mexico as early as next week Monday to start working out the details of the new contractual arrangement with CFE. Sir Manuel Esquivel said he will be accompanied on his visit by the newly appointed CEO of Belize Electricity Limited, Jeffrey Locke. We'll keep you updated on the progress of those meetings as they become available. Meanwhile, on the BTL issue, the government has called another special meeting of the House of Representatives and the Senate scheduled for this coming Monday, July 4th, to, as he, Prime Minister, puts it, fix the law that allowed for the public acquisition of Belize Telemedia back in 2009. The bill to be introduced this time is titled Belize Telecommunication Amendment Bill 2011 to clarify and expand certain provisions relating to the assumption of control over telecommunications by the government in the public interest. The House of Representatives meets Monday morning and the Senate convenes that same afternoon to debate and approve the bill. It was just over 1 year ago that Belize officially adopted the Caribbean Court of Justice, CCJ, as its final court of appeals. That came into effect on June 1st, 2010. 1 year and a month later, the Caribbean Court of Justice, CCJ, has ruled in favor of the Belize government in handing down its decision in the first appeal from the appellate court in Belize. It was a split decision in which 3 CCJ judges dismissed the appeal brought by 2 former government ministers, Florencia Marin and Jose Coyi, in the claims of misfeasance in connection with the transfer of 56 parcels of Crown land through Triop Enterprises. The government claimed that the parcels were acquired at almost $1 million below the estimated market value and that the business deal conducted was done illegally. Former Chief Justice Abdoulaye Conte dismissed the claim against the former PUP ministers, but the appellate court reversed Chief Justice Conte's decision, and Marin and Coyi moved to the CCJ. CCJ Justice Desiree Bernard, in her ruling, said that it is the duty of the Attorney General to preserve the patrimony of Belize by recovering financial loss from those allegedly responsible for undervaluing national lands in their quest for personal financial gain. Costs were awarded in favor of the Attorney General. So much for the Regional Appeals Court. Meanwhile, in court news at a local and lower level, magistrates in Belize were last week provided with an opportunity to discuss the major issues confronting them in the dispensation of justice, at the same time strengthening the administration of justice. The 2-day seminar took place last week at the Radisson Fort George Hotel in Belize City, and the acting Chief Justice of Belize, Samuel Langol, declared the workshop open with vital advice for the magistrates in attendance.
Aim at being correct about the evidence and law if you're a first instance judge or a magistrate. Avoid guessing. Read the applicable provisions in the Criminal Code Act, the Indictable Procedure Act, the Inferior Courts Act, the Summary Jurisdiction Act, the Family Courts Act, and Families and Children Act to confirm what you want to do. It does not matter whether you had read it the day before or 100 times before. That is how you get it right each time the question arises. Then generally read the area of the law that the case presents to you.
Other aspects of the workshop included discussions on vulnerable witness and witness protection special measures, sentencing guidelines including aggravating and mitigating circumstances, and establishing a magistrates association and consultative meetings with the Supreme Court. The seminar was organized by the Judiciary of Belize in conjunction with the Commonwealth Secretariat and the Commonwealth Magistrates and Judges Association. Attorney General Honorable B.Q. Pitts declared the seminar closed on Saturday, 25th June.
Amid the legal rumblings and maneuvers, let's not forget why, in the court of public opinion, the government's public acquisition of Belize Telemedia was justified and imperative. Exhibit 1, an outrageous accommodation agreement guaranteeing 15% profit to the Ashcroft Group, former owners of Telemedia. Exhibit 2, government and people of Belize had to pay the balance if Telemedia under the Ashcroft Group did not make the 15% profit. Exhibit 3, endless litigation in local and foreign courts hindering government from collecting taxes withheld by Ashcroft Group as compensation for alleged unrealized profits. Exhibit 4, a clause in the agreement binding the then Prime Minister to keep it secret and hidden from the National Assembly and the Belizean people. Exhibit 5, Ashcroft's Group refused to be regulated by the PUC and wanted to set their own rules under the accommodation agreement. Exhibit 6, no true competition because Ashcroft owned majority shares in Telemedia and Smart and was draining Belize Telemedia and giving sweetheart deals to Smart. Exhibit 7, since the acquisition, no more accommodation agreement, healthy profits now reported by Belize Telemedia, payments of generous dividends to almost 1,000 Belizean shareholders, resumption of paying its fair share of taxes, and real competition driving down telephone and internet rates. Exhibit 8, threats by former owners that upon regaining control, they would lay off Belizean workers to increase profits on the backs of Belizean consumers. Closing argument. For the sake of the workers, thousands of Belizean shareholders, the telecommunications industry, and the nation of Belize, the public acquisition of Belize Telemedia was justified and has proven to be good. The company must therefore not be allowed to fall back into the hands of the former owners. We rest our case.
The Honourable Melvin Holt is determined to have European Union funds utilized to complete the paving of the Hopkins Access Road and the back road in City River Village, which joins up with the City River Access Road to create one loop passing through the two villages. This past Wednesday, there was a pre-consultation meeting with all stakeholders in the Hopkins Village on the possible financing of the Hopkins Road and maybe other projects in relation to the Hopkins Village Master Plan. Our press office was there and has this to report.
An interesting preliminary pre-consultation meeting with stakeholders was held in the beautiful village of Hopkins yesterday, the 29th of June. The persons who attended were enthusiastic about the 4.6 million Belize dollars that are available for the development of the Hopkins Village infrastructure. And here is Ms. Catherine Mendes with more.
The project is to improve the Hopkins Road, as I had mentioned. We are certain we have to consult with the villagers because it's a big intervention and it will alter their lives. And it's also part of the larger development of Hopkins as a rural community. So the road we are sure that the villagers will want the road from the Southern Highway to Hopkins Village. But we want some feedback from them of additional areas they would want investment in tied to the road.
The area representative was there and offered his take on the matter.
European Union have we were fortunate for two things. One, that they had some extra fund and the initiation and the BRDP phase 2. And this comes at an opportune time to now capture this as a project. They have looked at it. They have looked at both the economic component of it, the social growth of the place, the touristic value of it, and have found that to be a really economically viable project to do. And so, as with all what European Union does, along with the Rural Development Office and the Economic Development, they always, regardless of what type of project that is get launched out, they make sure that they get an opportunity to meet with the people of these communities. This is their first phase where they have met with representatives of City River Village Council and the Hopkins Village Council. The evolution of that will now be that on the 10th of July they will then meet with the population of both of these communities to have input from them, because they are the beneficiaries. So they have a right to be able to voice, either get clarification or make suggestions and things like that.
For Bemopan Weekly, I am Claudia Grouch.
The Area Representative and Minister of Transport, Communication and National Emergency Management, Honorable Melvin Hulse, along with other government officials from the Belize Rural Development Project 2, BRDP2, the chairman of the Hopkins Village Council and the City River Village Council members, along with other village council members, were present. Most of the funding for the project or projects, when finalized, will come from the Belize Rural Development Project Cycle 2. It is estimated that $4.6 million Belize dollars will be allocated for the approved project or projects. The following is a story we should have brought you a few weeks ago, but since we're still in the graduation season, it's nevertheless quite timely. It's about the first graduation for Georgetown Technical High School in Stan Creek District, which took place on Friday, June 10, 2011. Press Secretary Delroy Kelvin attended the ceremony and has the story.
The first of anything is always special, but what made the occasion particularly joyous was the fact of how the school started, the challenges it has been through, what it has since accomplished, and how promising its future now seems. Georgetown Technical High started out as a struggling institution with classes held under thatched roofs. Today, it is a full-fledged high school on a beautiful campus with new and spacious concrete buildings. On Friday, June 10, 2011, Georgetown Technical High held its first ever commencement exercise for 51 graduates. On hand for the ceremony was Area Representative Melvin Hulse, and Minister of Education Patrick Farber delivered the keynote address.
Young men and young women, you are among the first to graduate from Georgetown Technical High School. You know those struggles. You were a part of those classes that had thatched roofs and mud floors. And you know that when it rained that you struggled and you suffered. You know that you are leaving now and you're leaving these fine buildings, and in fact you may never play basketball in the auditorium. But it is because of your struggle and it is because of your determination that those who will come after you will enjoy the fruits of those things. And I see on the agenda for the ceremonies today that you will be inaugurated into the Alumni Association. You are going to be the first alumni of this very, very noble institution. And what they say about Georgetown Technical High School in the near future is dependent on you. If they say the picnic they will come from Georgetown shitting, they're not smart, they can't perform, they don't know nothing, it will be because of you. And you know that's not true, right? You know that you received a top quality education. You know that you will indeed make this institution proud. You will help to make the name of Georgetown Technical sacred, so that whenever people hear that a person is a graduate of Georgetown Technical High, that it will mean something.
The new Georgetown Technical High School campus, with all the structures built on it and those still under construction, are concrete proof and testament to the determination of the institution's staff, faculty, board, students, and parents, and the support and commitment of Stan Creek West Area Representative Melvin Hulse, Education Minister Patrick Farber, and the government of Prime Minister Dean Barrow.
Georgetown Technical High is located at mile 29 on the Southern Highway at the entrance of Georgetown Village and is the newest secondary institution serving students from villages throughout the southern Stan Creek. At the close of the school year earlier this month, the school's enrollment was already up to 425 students.
What if a disaster strikes without warning? What if life, as you know it, is completely turned on its head? What if everything familiar becomes anything but? Before a disaster turns your family's world upside down, it's up to you to be ready. Get a kit, make a plan, be informed today. Learn how at www.nemo.org.bz.
After many years without proper direction, sports is finding its way and headed to greater heights under this UDP administration. In historic fashion, with Honorable John Saldivar at the helm, the Ministry of Sports is bringing all governing bodies in line with established procedures of democracy, transparency, and legitimacy in accordance with the Sports Act. In football, there is renewed energy and direction, and in basketball, greater emphasis on development of talent at early levels. The National Sports Council is being restructured for better condition of sports nationally, and a sports summit planned to review and modernize the Sports Act. Meanwhile, physical sports infrastructure is being improved and upgraded countrywide. In the West, with great input from Honorable Elvin Penner, a new building has been constructed at the Norman Broster Stadium to provide changing rooms for football teams and officials. In the capital city, Bemopan's big court at Hilltop has been upgraded with new bleachers to seat over 400 spectators during basketball and volleyball games. In the north, the People's Stadium is being refurbished through collaboration with the Deputy Prime Minister Gaspar Vega. And in the old capital, the master project at the Marian Jones Sporting Complex is fully underway. The surrounding fence and beach volleyball court now complete. The cycling track is being resurfaced with hot mix and a new running track that will meet International Association of Athletes Federation standards with its new synthetic track nearing completion. Soon to be signed is the contract for Phase 4 to construct modern seating facilities for over 6,000 fans, complete with a FIFA standard football field, changing rooms, offices, generator rooms, concession stands and parking lot, making it a splendid complex that will propel Belizean athletes to a new competitive level in the region. Your UDP government, upgrading sports infrastructure and fostering development of Belizean athletes, investing in our people and nation, for now and for the future.
Welcome back. The Ministry of Public Service, Governance Improvement, Elections and Boundaries and Sports presented 57 public officers with the Long Service Award. This took place last week at a luncheon ceremony held at the San Ignacio Resort Hotel. Bemopan Weekly's Ada Herrera has more.
Awardees were officers who have served in the public service for 25 years. The Public Service Awards ceremony was organized to coincide the International Public Service Day observed on June 23rd. The Minister of Public Service, Governance Improvement, Elections and Boundaries and Sports, Honorable John Saldivar, said that value and virtue are key ingredients of attaining efficiency in the public service.
My message is that we be mindful of the opportunity and the responsibility we all have in contributing to good governance of this nation. I call all to the task of continuously elevating the value and virtues of the public service, whether on the front line as a clerk, typist, receptionist, or in the background as policy advisors or administrators. Let us rise to the challenge to relentlessly pursue excellence, as our people deserve no less. Let us make the most of the opportunity to make not only a difference, but an impactful one. The life choice we make today can impact the lives of many tomorrow.
The chairman for the Public and Security Services Commission, Mr. Patrick Bernard, also spoke at this event. He said that by training and coaching new public officers, a lot more can be accomplished.
I believe that if we train, coach, empower, and reward people appropriately, we can accomplish anything. The training we provide must be relevant, current, and specific. Workers need to feel that they are an important part of a system which looks after their interests and aspirations.
Receiving the award for the Public Officer of the Year award was Mrs. Estella Humphreys, who is the primary care provider at the Independence Polyclinic. Bernadette Nicholson was also awarded for submitting the best theme. For Bemopan Weekly, I am Ida Herrera.
Public Service Week was held under the theme, Striving for Excellence, Promoting Good Governance, Contributing to our nation's wealth through our public service. He's been with us for the past 2 years, serving our country in very important legal capacity. And now he's saying his official farewell, but will no doubt remain a valuable friend of Belize. We're speaking about Mr. Oscar Ramjeet, native of Guyana, whose 2-year stint as Belize's Solicitor General in the Office of the Attorney General comes to an end today, Thursday, June 30th. Rudy Aguilar sat down with Mr. Ramjeet on Wednesday for a short chat on his time in Belize and his future plans.
Mr. Ramjeet, what has been your impressions of Belize in the time you have been here?
Well, Rudy, my homeland, Guyana, is somewhat similar to Belize. The land base is about the same, but Guyana is much larger. In fact, Guyana is 10 times larger than Belize. But 70,000 square miles is forested. Both countries, both Belize and Guyana, are agricultural, with sugar the main product. Guyana, however, has gold and bauxite. And Belize is the only English-speaking country in Central America, while Guyana is the only English-speaking country in Central America, in South America. However, there are more Spanish influence in Belize than in Guyana, because of the neighboring countries, Mexico and Honduras.
Is this the first time you had come to Belize?
No, this is not my first. My first trip was about 20 years ago when I served as Solicitor General in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I came here to attend a Caribbean Justice Improvement Project workshop, but it was held in Belize City.
Where are you now going from here? What are you taking up?
Well, I now live in Palm Beach, Florida. I was living there for the past 7 years, and I'm going back home. But although I am demitting office here as Solicitor General on Thursday, I will still be doing some work for the government of Belize. I've been appointed Honorary Vice Consul, Legal Consultant to the Belize government. I will work with the Council in Miami and perhaps with the missions in New York and Washington.
What have you learned from Belize?
Meeting people by itself is an experience. Before coming here, I never interacted with Spanish-speaking people, and I did a lot while I was here. I never met Garifunas, and I happened to meet some of them. I walk along with some of them, And I had an opportunity to visit Punta Gorda, where on Garifuna Day, and I look at the festivities and I mingled with them, and I really enjoyed it. I spent a night there, that was itself an experience. And besides going to the Punta Gorda, I visited Corozal, where I swore in some justices of the peace. I went to Orange Walk, and I went to the Maya ruins in Cayo. So I've traveled extensively around Belize.
Okay.
And met the people then.
What do you think will be your legacy for the country, and what were you able to accomplish in your period here?
Well, Rudy, I think I did a reasonable job in Belize during my 2-year stint. As Solicitor General, I served as a member of the Judicial and Legal Services Commission, where appointments were made. We also took the decision that it was high time for only fully qualified lawyers to be accepted as to serve as magistrates, because right now you have too many lay magistrates. And the point was made that there are several lawyers coming out of the law school, and it's high time that we have qualified lawyers, because Belize is the only jurisdiction in CARICOM that has lay magistrates. And it's time that they should stop that. And to add to that, why you should have qualified lawyers. Every year now there's an increase. In fact, I should mention they have 9 new lawyers will be coming in to be admitted to practice next month. And if the following year you'd have 11. And this is as a result of representation I made to the Council of Legal Education for more Belizeans to be accepted at the Norman Manley Law School in Jamaica. As a journalist, I've been advocating for all CARICOM countries to abolish appeals to the Privy Council and accept the Caribbean Court of Justice as the final court. I'm happy that while I am here in Belize, Belize joined the regional court, and only a few days ago, the CCJ handed down its first judgment in the Belize case.
In your view, Mr. Ramjit, how does it benefit Belize to be a part of the Caribbean family of nations?
Well, Belize is a member of SICA, the Central America Union, and also a member of CARICOM. So Belize is really now the bridge between between CARICOM and SICA, and Belize can play a very important role.
Thank you, Mr. Ramjit. Would you like to leave any final word with us in this short interview?
Well, I think that Belize has a very bright future, especially in tourism and agriculture, and I see the government is paying a lot of emphasis on tourism, because I attended a meeting about 3 weeks ago, and I see that they are doing some advertising online and stuff like that. So I see a bright future for Belize.
And that's it for another edition of Bemopan Weekly. Thanks for watching. I'm Dawn Mitchell. See you all next week.